Right, I better get changed and have my coffee. See you in a second for coffee talk. Today's topic is about the photographs that we take and why we take so many. So that's today's topic. Right, today's topic for coffee talk, new mug, compliments of Helen Cody. Isn't it absolutely fab? Okay, today's topic. Right, today's topic is why do we take so many photographs? Well, here's the reason why. So for insurance purposes, we have to retain all photographs for 7 years and they're stored in the cloud. Should there ever be a dispute with the client, so that we can actually pull up all of the photographs. So that's why we take, firstly, that is why we take so many photographs. Secondly, there was a time we used to print them all off and store them in envelopes. Now, thank God, we're able to store them in the cloud. And it is very, well, it's a legal requirement anyway for starters, but it's also very helpful if a client rings you back and says, do you remember me, Olive? And then I can actually pull up the photograph and say, yes, I remember you, rather than pulling out the notes and reading down through all the notes. Usually when I see a brow, see a person's face, I can see then if we had any problems or how it went or how it didn't go or how long it lasted and da. So loads of photos. So part of the prep when a client, I'm holding this here now, a part of the prep when a client comes to us is that we ask them to come in to us with their brow products on as they like it. And that gives us a couple of clues. It gives us an idea of the colour that they like, and I can do a colour match then. It gives us an idea of the type of brow that they like, so whether it's a natural brow or whether they're looking for a more dramatic and defined brow. And it gives us an idea is that some people, they'd pencil it in and they just feather it along, and then there are other people who would actually just lash it on with a thick crayon, and that would give me an idea as to what type of brow that particular client is looking for, and that we both have the same vision. I can do this work in my sleep. It's to get to know the personality of the client is the hardest bit, really. So we take a photograph of you as you arrive with your product on. This is the tool that we use. So you can see the little oval thing here. Your face goes into that. And I do a measurement then of your face, how you apply the product. And I actually check out the symmetry. Oftentimes we can see whether, you know, you've have one eyebrow higher than the other. If you're right hand dominant, this eyebrow will always be perfect. It's very hard for you to get the product over onto this side, unless you're ambidextrous, of course. But that's the first thing. Then we remove all the product off your face and we take yet another photograph. So then we do another facial morphology on you without product, and I get to see the real deal. Then we take nearly 20 minutes to draw on a potential brow. So I use this because it actually gives us your facial symmetry and what's best suited to your face shape. It's the mathematical term is 1.618. And that is used on your face shape as well. I also use this gauge to make sure that they're both the same size or same length on either side. And we use this to make sure that they're actually both at the same height. And then we get the client to approve that. So they give us the thumbs up to say, yes, I love that. And what I do is then we use a crayon that has got a high amount of wax in it. So that cannot move when I'm doing work. And here's the reason why we agonize over all those photographs, because if there's a dispute afterwards, it's what the client has approved. So, and we show them why it suits them and they give us the thumbs up. So we don't go outside the brow line when the work is done. And usually over that evening and the following day, your body responds differently on both sides of your face. So one can look a bit thicker and higher and fatter than the other one. It takes 24 hours to settle, but it's in those 24 hours that people actually get the sort of the heebie-jeebies and go, oh my God, Olive, I think there's one higher than the other, or oh my God, Olive, I think one is fatter than the other. And I use those photographs to say, we didn't go outside the brow line. This is going to settle in 24 hours usually, although I have one client that it lasted for nearly 2 weeks, her body responded totally differently. Even when you're being waxed, that you respond to pain on one side more than the other, and it's the same with swelling as well. So ballpark is 24 hours, but I usually send that photograph onto the client and said, this is what you approved, this is what you got, and please be reassured that it will settle. So there can be kind of hard couple of days, particularly when it gets dark that evening, you know, the pigment gets quite dark, and the following day it's darker again. But subsequently then over the next 3 days after that, it softens nicely. So then we have to take photographs taken straight after the work, and I take a video that's straight after the work. Oh, my client is here. I'll talk to you in a minute. All right, small hiatus. So here I am, I'm back. So all of those photographs then are all stored in the iCloud, and we can recall them at any time. So, and we hold on to them for 7 years. So that is what is the recommended time. And it's great for clients as well that that they know that we have their photographs on file. And I always send all of those photographs on treatment day. I give them to them via WhatsApp so that they can actually be reassured that we didn't go outside the line, and that if there's any irregularities going on over the first 2 or 3 days, that they just need to sort of calm down. And you go through this whole emotion roller coaster going, oh my God, they're too dark, they're too thick, there's one fatter than the other, blah, 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 blah. And it all eventually settles, which it does. And then when you come back for step 2, there's photographs taken again of how the pigment retained between step 1 and step 2. The changes that we need to make, I write down in my notes as well as to what changes we made in order to get the desired result that we're looking for, and the comments made by the client, and the comments that they made as well in relation to how the healing went, how the scabbing went, and what they want now. Oftentimes people come into me and they go, oh, not too thick, not too dark, your lightest possible pigment, nice and natural please. So we do nice light pigment, and we do microblading on its own, and then they come back for step 2 and say, right, forget all that. I now want darker, I want a powder brow, I want blade and shade, and la la la. So yeah, so it's good. And so we make our notes, and it's photographed all along the way and stored so that I can recall that when you come back in a year's time. So also we take photographs for social media, and a lot of the part of the prep, you're informed that photographs are taken. Firstly, you're told the reason why, and secondly, we use it for marketing as well. So if you prefer not to be on our social media, well then we usually, it's on your consent form and you opt out. Otherwise we assume that you're actually okay with it. So yeah, so that's why you see the likes of this on so that we can get the best possible photograph. And most people don't have a problem with that, because it's usually actually the way that a lot of people would actually explore as to what you're about. And that is usually on either your website or where you can't put a huge amount of photographs up. But Facebook and Instagram is usually the place where a lot of people go to see, you know, what is the kind of work that this particular person does. So it probably would be the reason why you would have made your decision in relation to having your eyebrows done. Okay, so there you go. That's the reason why we take all the photographs. Now I'm going to put up the photographs of the last client, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great